everybody. My name is Bart Winkler. Grant Bills is here. Paul Imig is here. This is from the Carl's Place voicemail line from last week.
Do try to replicate your Mount Rushmore video. It will not work. It's impossible. I've watched it like 15 times. You cannot do any better than that.
There you go. Random caller on the Carl's Place voicemail line. I could have just told you, but whatever. Carl's Place, carlof.et.com/Bart. And he liked the Mount Rushmore episode. The Mount Rushmore, it will not go down in history as the guys talked about Mount Rushmore. It will go down as Paul's ineptitude to figure out a concept. Paul?
I was wondering if I needed to start. I've debated whether saying I'd just like to start this episode by apologizing for being right when no one else. No, listen, I know it was a weird take, but I wasn't doing a take. I was just like, I'm sorry.
No, you just couldn't comprehend. Can you comprehend it now or no?
I still think that I am looking at it in a different way. Not a wrong way.
I think that at age whatever you are, you need to understand, you need to learn what the word hypothetical means.
Yeah, I would say that's a struggle. I would shock that. Yeah, no, I'm fully into.
Well, my background is the Bucks, where the Bucks had their presser for Adrian Griffin. If you're on the Dan Schani YouTube stream, do you understand that I'm not actually at the press conference?
As a young 3-year-old Mr. Winkler once said, "Fuck off."
Yes, the correct is "fuck you, Tim," is what he said.
Was it off or was it you? But, okay, yeah.
Either way, he said.
Either way, it was the best part of probably that episode. That's you had a great conversation with Nagler, but the thing I'm going to remember is, the podcast.
Nagler, I essentially agree with me. I think on my Mount Rushmore, but then he also made a compelling argument that it should be suits.
So I would, I know the Mount Rushmore topic is so silly, but also we took it in such a. And not just because I was doing a strange version of it, but it came up organically, right? Like how you explained it to Nagler. It was not all right, we're going to do a Mount Rushmore topic because it's the middle of the offseason. No, it was Mark Murphy is elevating his profile in terms of Packers all-time people who were important. But now what I do need, I know you probably weren't intending to drag this out any further, but I do think I need to hear Ryan Horvat's reaction to only suits being.
I thought of that right away, yeah.
Because let me tell you, my opinion swayed with Aaron's commentary. And I know that he wasn't saying, Aaron Nagler, vote for these following 4 suits to be the only 4 people. But I kind of resonated with the idea. It would be weird that Lombardi's not on there for sure. He'd be the number 1 most glaring. Wait a minute. I know you're trying to not do players, but where's Lombardi? But yeah, man, Harlan and Mark Murphy, in addition to who was the 4th one? It was Lambeau, Harlan, Murphy.
Well, Lombardi.
Oh, he did include Lombardi. Okay, so he just.
But the Packers are structured in a way where, I don't think any other team you can do suits.
It is such a unique situation. But I would worry, and I say this in a silly way, but also I'm legitimate. I think Horvat would give up his Packers fandom if they had a Mount Rushmore of just suits. I think he'd be done.
Well, I'll ask him. I've been meaning to do an episode with him, but he had some weird rash, and now he's in Napa or some shit.
Do you remember when Ryan Horvat, for the first year on your show, said he was never sick, and then proceeded to be sick every day, every week with something else?
I think Grant's sick of waiting. Hey, Grant.
Hey, guys. I was just going to say, he's like the Lamar Jackson of radio. Lamar's always got something week to week. It seems like Horvat always has something going on. Health-wise,
but he touted himself as the world's most always healthy man, and then karma came and found him or something.
Well, he's built different. I was listening to some old Horvat episodes earlier this week. I sent Bart some clips, and Horvat was just he had to grind for it. He didn't get to take days off. He was in at 5 every day. And then, being sick is a luxury. You need to earn being sick when you get somewhere in this business, Paul.
Yeah.
How would you? I got a lot to talk about. I know you have questions. It's day.
Yeah.
But how would you react to this voicemail? This is not a Carl's Place voicemail.
Oh.
This is a Bart Winkler phone voicemail. How would you react to this voicemail? It's about 50 seconds.
Okay.
Hold on. I get on my phone. I have to do speaker. God damn it.
Yep.
Tim, edit this part out in post.
Yeah.
My name is John Logsdon. I'm a vice president with Radius Hospitality. We recently took over management of a hotel in Hartville, Ohio, and realized that some rooms from last fall, the Hall of Fame weekend in Akron, some of the rooms that stayed at the hotel were not fully charged on their credit cards. We do have the information, and we understand that we understand that you stayed at the hotel, and we just wanted to chat with you, notify you that we still had to charge your card for your stay. I can be reached at 330.
All right. So whatever. So basically this guy's trying to collect money, and they also contacted Ellerson, who I stayed. We had separate rooms, but he was also there. The hotel was paid for. I had the receipts. I brought them home and left them in Gary's car, and then got in a car accident in the parking lot in my car when I was driving away. I backed into a pole. And I never got it fixed, and I guess I didn't need to. I thought I fucked up my tailpipe, but I guess not. Maybe my car will explode at any given time. I don't know. But it was paid for. The company paid for it. Odyssey, Mitch, they paid for it. So I talked to my brother who's in hotels.
Yeah.
There is this practice that some hotels do. So this is a warning if you ever get this call. If you ever stay somewhere, I gave my card for incidentals. I don't
know what that means, but I've stayed in a hotel.
It's a fancy way to say food and drink in the shitty shop right there.
Yeah.
Or if you like wreck the room and they need to.
Of course.
Or if you have an incident. Yeah.
Incidentals.
If you come all over the drapes.
Well, they got to watch those. That's on them, but continue.
So apparently sometimes people, when hotels are like, fuck, we need some money, they go back through the list of people that charge their card, and then they ask the person whose room it was, and basically they're hoping to catch a few people to pay for the problem to go away. So they're trying to get someone. They're trying to reach out to idiots to pay them for what they've already been paid.
They're barking up the wrong tree.
And he also emailed me, and I said, the room was paid for. You have absolutely no permission to charge my card for anything. And then he said, oh, okay, I'll review our records, and I'm sorry for the inconvenience. I'll let you know. I'll never hear from him again. So as what I feel like of this generation's Dave Ramsey.
I brought up Dave Ramsey on my show yesterday. Hell yeah. I got the Baker Street song queued up in case I ever needed.
That saxophone solo is so good. I missed an exit once because I was fucking entrenched.
Right. It was probably up somewhere on 90.
It was. I missed Moss, and I ended up in the next one, Junction.
Your next step to financial freedom starts here. Good evening. My name is Dave Ramsey.
He's always like, don't pay your everything. Get 19 credit cards.
Hey, you don't have to agree with what Dave Ramsey says. You cannot deny that that's fucking compelling ass radio. You got people calling in, spilling their life stories.
Hey, Dave,
all their debts.
I got $90,000 in debt.
All right, well, let's look into this a little bit. So how much is on this card? It's like this person is in ruins. And Dave is like, well, all right, we can deal. Let's start to parse this out now. And just for the time, we're going to offer you a free membership in this course at Financial Peace University, free to charge for you and your family. And if you complete it and get me back that record, I will pay for the next. It's fantastic. It's fantastic radio. Anyways, hotels.
So that's my story.
I love it.
What would you do without your brothers? You'd be boned on your credit card because of a hotel, and you never would have had Klay Thompson on your podcast.
And my brother that lives here, I went to have a guy to golf with later in the week.
Also important.
Well, I do need to take a time out to pay for those hotel bills. We'll be right back. The Bart Winkler Show.
That song had no, they're just let's do the most dramatic ass thing possible on this song.
And then our station at KFIZ, we would go from Ramsey to Sean Hannity. And Sean Hannity's always Hannity would always be like, I'm not trying to be political. I'm just trying to stay. And then the opening to Hannity's show, I'm not even shitting, was the Sean Hannity Show, where we are trying to make Obama a one-term president. And then Hannity gets out there and it's like,
easy. What'd I say?
I'm not, I just want to know.
Yeah. His bumper music that leads off the top of the hour, because we have it on our news station and I hear it because I have a desk right out there where I do some work. And it's This Is How We Roll by Florida Georgia Line.
Did you guys hear, did you see my tweet where Chance the Rapper did Hot in Here by Nelly?
Yeah, Jimmy Fallon ruins everything. Everything he is involved with, he ruins. That was cool until I see him in the background. I don't know what he's doing. Fallon things.
All right, Paul, do you have any live golf questions?
No, I thought about whether we had to go with this, given what the news that came out. I don't, but we certainly can.
Well, let me say this, because this is the Wednesday podcast. I did go live on Tuesday, and if you're dying for Adrian Griffin reaction, we'll talk. But that I did a YouTube only show with some Adrian Griffin. It's only Dan Schani. Only he gets it. Only he can watch it. DanShaney.com. I did a special for Dan, and we talked Griffin, but then we talked Live Golf. And Spark Guy wanted to bring up, thinks that Live Golf was never intended to be anything, that it was a money laundering front basically for Trump. Yeah, for his, And then
Carl's plays voicemail line.
As Hot Take Jake call you're going to hear on Friday's show.
Tim,
it's a hotel calling me back.
Please.
It's a hotel. They're like, not only did we charge you, we charge you for being mean in your email.
Also, your podcast blows.
Huh?
Also, your podcast blows.
Yeah, also, hey, I caught that YouTube. So everyone's comparing this to the Michael Scott Paper Company.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He's like, but that was a paper company, though. In the office, Michael Scott tried to have a paper company because he wanted to have a he wanted to make money.
Mm-hmm.
Live Golf never had any intention of making money. They didn't care if you watched it. They didn't care if you went. They just threw a bunch of money at these golfers. And what this article from the Big Lead said is you can't buy golf, but you can make some Trojan horse of a league, wear down the public that your nation's entanglement and financial ties to the sport, and then just basically buy golf under the guise of a merger. So basically the Saudis bought golf is what they did. And Trump, I mentioned Trump, he had a tweet last summer, or not a tweet, a truth. What are they called? On Truth Social. July 18th, 2022. All those golfers that remain loyal to the very disloyal PGA will pay a big price when the inevitable merger with Liv comes. If you don't take the money now, you will get nothing after the merger takes place. If I'm Trump, I'm running on this fucking post. That's what I'm running on.
Foreign policy.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm like Rory and I stood out there and I defended it, and all these guys made millions of dollars, and now they're coming back basically with no penalty, I'm pissed.
Yeah.
Like I don't know how you assuage those guys, because basically everybody else just got to say, yeah, okay, was my reputation going to take a hit for $5 million, $500 million? I don't give a fuck.
I'm glad, after reading about what I've read about it so far, that I'm glad I'm not a golf fan. I don't care. I've never cared. I'm glad I don't have to, because this is
it's bad
quandary,
yeah.
isn't it, Paul?
They bought golf.
They bought
the Saudis bought golf.
Yeah.
We were all worried that like Vince was going to sell to the Saudis.
Mm-hmm.
The Saudis purchased a sport, you guys.
Yeah.
Why do they want it so bad?
That's a great question. That is a great question.
Like I'm reading like today.
Like if I had endless amounts of money, I'd buy like a boat.
They bought basically a boardroom seat into golf. Like everything I read today, like I read a Washington Post thing where it's like the influence lies. I don't know how to pronounce the capital of Saudi Arabia. It's like, why did all of this just to like have a little pull in American golf? Okay, I guess. Sure.
One of the weirdest stories of our time. There's got to be more. There's got to be a lot that we don't know that we don't know.
Like, what a great way for a foreign power to mess with us, though. Like, let's fuck up the sport that they watch all summer. What are they gonna like? Nothing we can do about it. It's annoying
we're
as
gonna
hell.
watch baseball.
Yes, the sport we watch all summer. I mean, I asked this sincerely. Are golf ratings good? Like really good? Like, are they like? How do they stack up? How do golf ratings stack up?
I would love to watch golf. I don't have time. I watch the Masters and then I watch a little bit of the U.S. Open, and then if I'm stuck somewhere with nothing to do, I'll watch golf on the weekend. But summer weekends, that's not for sitting inside and watching sports. Come on now.
I have a take on the Stanley Cup playoff. Then Paul, then you can ask a question.
Go for it.
I don't care, but I kind of like the like I was out in Madison the other night, and then last night, I don't know, there's something about being out like in the summer and having hockey on and knowing it's an important game, but you don't care about it.
Yeah.
I think it's a nice backdrop.
Again, as the person who loves to go to games, hockey, basketball of teams I don't care about, it's so fun. It's when it's a finals of, a championship, like the winner of this series wins the whole thing and you don't have to care. That is the best for me. I would.
Well, I'm not watching it. I just like that it exists. I like that I can like go to a bar and it's on a hot night.
Like you'll see it. You'll see 3 minutes.
I'm not going to look at it. I just like that it's on.
Maybe you're going to see like 20-second segments 4 times, right?
Yeah, I like those 80 seconds.
It's fun. I'm with you on that.
Yeah,
I'm totally with you on that.
Like how when I take a nap, I like to have golf on or even a race.
Yeah. Like last night. Last night I was playing video games and I have a little TV next to my computer and I'm like, oh, I can have hockey on. And for 20 seconds, I looked over and said, holy shit, Vegas is up 4-0, but they have fewer shots on goal. Wow. And then I basically didn't pay attention to it again the rest of the night. But I'm with you. It was a very nice 20 seconds.
I say this as a hockey fan, especially an NHL hockey fan. The most memorable thing from the series so far, like I think if you were to poll 1,000 hockey fans, I think the most interesting thing to come out of it so far was this female reporter stiff-arming a visit. Do you see this video?
She's
awesome.
Skinny. I have questions.
She's like, I've just never seen a reporter be able to successfully keep out an intruding person who's trying to find their way onto the video. So shout out to that reporter of the Florida Panthers, or at least in Miami. Yeah. Stanley Cup. All right, cool. We have 48 minutes. Let's see where this goes. All right. So I want to start with it's Adrian Griffin press conference day, or it was.
Day after. Yep.
And I would have told, we did our live Adrian Griffin has been hired. I was say post game, but post announcement thing. And Grant was live because he knew it was coming. He had sources. He was live at the Fiserv Forum.
Boots on the ground.
Whereas Grant was sort of on the path of like, I think they needed to take a risk. I think that was a good risk. I was more skeptical. So I want to say this after hearing the Terry Stotts news, which, by the way, I'm sorry. Did he talk about Terry Stotts this morning, or was he not able to do that yet?
It was a very
general type of.
I'm excited to be here. I think what I was interested. I mean, he said the word adjustments, and the Bucks YouTube channel went fucking berserk.
I did see your. Yeah, I saw your tweet. Yeah.
Yeah, they talked about cum. That's why I had cum on my brain earlier. That's why I had cum on my tongue before.
Sure. So,
what did they say about cum? Wait, what?
Someone on YouTube said,
yeah,
adjustments. I just came.
Oh,
because they were very excited about the word adjustments.
So there was a story though where he got traded to Milwaukee, and then this was his 10th year in the league, and he thought, this is awesome. I'm going to make it 10 years in the league.
Mm-hmm.
And cut down day was whatever. They were like traveling to Chicago for a preseason game.
I saw this.
And 3:00 was when the deadline was. And at 2:59, he got a call from Skiles.
Yeah.
To say, we can't keep you on the roster, but I'd like to offer you a job on my staff. And I think that for Griffin, that's a real tough moment. Like, you could still keep trying to play. Like, you have to, if you accept that job, you are done playing. And you have to make that decision in a matter of days. You were just looking forward to your 10th year as a player, and you could go overseas. I mean, you could really try to stretch out that career. But he decided, no, I'm eventually going to want to be a coach someday. There's a job in front of me. He took the bird in hand, and 15 years later, this guy named Mark Podiatrist is on Twitter bugging Lori Nickel and Dario Melendez about why they didn't bring up the domestic abuse charges that got dropped.
I have to ask you this question.
What a run for Adrian Griffin.
Well, actually, there's two things I want to say. You know how, like, Lorenzo Cain making it to 10 years in Major League Baseball, it earned him, I don't know.
In baseball, that happens.
So Adrian Griffin, what you're saying was a day away, because I saw the quote, but, like, does the NBA have a similar?
No, I don't know, because, like,
so it would have been like a hallmark number, but it wouldn't have, like, changed his financial.
No, it's not like the same thing, because, like, Diener's he played 6 or 7 years or whatever, and I think the pension's 4 or 5 years.
Oh, okay. So a lot less for NBA.
Yeah.
Okay.
Did you know that Yelich is coming up on his 10-year day?
No. Wow.
Yelich.
Yeah.
Yeah, I suppose.
All right. So Terry Stotts.
So I have to ask you this question first. What was your impression of, like, what % of Bucks fandom was skeptical about the Adrian Griffin hire when it was first announced? This isn't I'm just genuinely curious.
No, I think and I said this on my YouTube only show. But I said that with Jordan Love, we're all like, okay, let's see what happens. We understand that you don't know until you know. Mm-hmm. With Adrian Griffin, Bucks fans want to know everything. The Bucks, and this might be the insaneness of Bucks fans. They were never going to like this press conference today unless he was grilled about that one case, unless he talked in detail how he would have beat the Heat, how he would have done this. Like, they want him to just, like, open up all his secrets and coach. And they want him to give answers for questions he doesn't even know exist yet.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you got to fucking relax. We don't know we don't even know how things are going to play out. And just Bucks fans, and because some of them wanted Nick Nurse so goddamn bad because, I don't know, he won a title and beat us. Like, just let the guy coach. Horst's great line was, this is a coach. He just hasn't has the job yet. I like that. Mm-hmm. And I'm optimistic to find it. Look, if it doesn't work, there's a lot of guys that are going to be accountable for that. Adrian Griffin may never coach again. Giannis is heavily involved, according to at least perception. John Horst hired the guy. The owners wanted this guy. Did they want him because he was only $4 million and whatever?
But they have to pay Budenholzer $7 million at the same time, so they're paying $11 million for a head coach.
Right. So there's a lot on the line with this coaching hire.
Big time.
I don't know. I think that this all goes back. Like, Bucks fans are the most impatient group of fucking humans on the goddamn planet. And you know why it is? It's because they are children. My son last night, I was going to let him watch YouTube toy videos at 6:45, and it was 6:35. So I wanted him to wait 10 minutes because he's not accustomed to waiting. I told him, son, when I wanted to watch Fraggle Rock, I had to wait a whole goddamn week before it came on at 8:30. Then Saturday morning came, I still had to wait for the designated time. I can show you any blockbuster movie of all fucking time at the tip of your fingertips at any moment you want. These kids don't have patience. They don't know that it's a concept even. Yeah. And that's why Bucks fans are so insane, is because they're all somehow, every Bucks fan, they're like cartoon characters where they never fucking age. They're all 23 and they're all impatient. Relax.
Yeah, you're painting with a broad brush, obviously, because there's
Fuck Twitter.
Well, and there's like a vocal dozen of them who are making it seem like I'm a very patient Bucks fan. Very, very, very patient. But that's because I came up with a totally horseshit franchise for like all but 2 years.
To go back to the one thing, you and I are 70s and 80s.
We talked about this. We are the Bucks fans that Packers fans like us say like, oh yeah, the 70s or 80s. Like,
we're Bucks fans that are like, hey, Giannis got one. That's awesome. Thank God. And then every other Bucks fan is like, he needs 5.
He should already have 4.
He should already have 4.
Easy
minimum. So okay, so wait, so what's your percent? I'm just curious.
How many were optimistic?
Or what percent were initially like the gut reaction of optimistic? 2%. Grant, what's the real number?
Probably, I don't know, not enough. The optimist, I don't know, 30-40%.
Okay.
I keep saying on my show it's important. Like, there wasn't a slam dunk hire out there. Like, there was going to be uncertainty for some reason with basically all these coaches. It's not like they passed up Phil Jackson to go to Adrian Griffin.
Yeah. Well, okay, I think that's fair. I'm a Nick Nurse guy. I didn't necessarily like, hey, the Bucks have to hire this guy or it's a bad hire. I'm not that Nick Nurse guy. I'm not saying Nick Nurse is, to your point, like the Phil Jackson. Anyway, this is the question. The hiring of Terry Stotts, so actually, to rewind for a second, like the Suns went a different direction. The Suns went with the experienced veteran head coach, Frank Vogel, and then gave an all-time record contract to their associate head coach, who was also under Monty Williams. I think Kevin Young is his name, right? Mm-hmm. So they brought in the veteran head coach to be the head coach, and then they kept with a record contract the other guy, the inexperienced head coach. The Bucks did the opposite. They hired Adrian Griffin, the unproven, never been a head coach before guy, but then they brought in Terry Stotts as the veteran to help lead the stuff if whatever. So for the Bucks fans who were skeptical or concerned about the Adrian Griffin hire, the Terry Stotts hiring as the associate head coach or the assistant head coach, whatever his official title is a really big deal for Adrian Griffin. Like this was a really important piece. Let me say this: the Terry Stotts hiring was a really important piece of the Adrian Griffin hire. Mm-hmm or mm-mm.
Hold on. Someone just tweeted the clip of George Bush about
Stop those terrorist killers. Now watch this drive.
I gotta play it. I'm playing it.
You don't need to. You can.
I love it.
I mean, it's great.
This is what the PGA Tour said this morning.
Stop the terror. I call upon all nations to do everything they can to stop these terrorist killers. Thank you. Now watch this drive.
As outrageous as Trump was, this moment from Bush. Now watch this drive.
Iconic. Do you want me to go first? I can go first.
Yeah, the Terry Stotts hiring is a really important piece of the Adrian Griffin hire. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I just want to give both sides. Joe Biden fell the other day.
Yes.
National emergency.
Yes, he is.
Go ahead.
Well, we've seen this in football. Like, I think this was a trend in the NFL a couple years ago. You get Sean McVeigh and then you get Wade Phillips to be your defensive coordinator, right? So this isn't a totally foreign concept. I like the way the Bucks are doing it more than the Suns are doing it. Okay. Because the young hotshot assistant is going to get poached at some point. And I know everyone thinks that you can fire the head coach and promote the assistant. I just don't think it works that way. I don't think you can fire Budenholzer and promote Darvin Ham or promote. I just don't think the world works that way. You can always get another Terry Stotts. Get Frank Vogel in 2 years if he gets fired. You know what I mean? If Terry Stotts really goes and gets another job somewhere, there's going to be the stately retread coach that's always available to back up your young guy if he needs backup. I think the Bucks are going about it the way I would go about it. Try to groom your head coach rather than groom somebody else's head coach. And that is the same in the NFL, right? That's when you have a defensive head coach, your hotshot offensive coordinator is always going to get poached. That's always going to be an issue for you. And it's kind of similar with the way the Suns are doing their coaching. I like how the Bucks did it.
So the Terry Stotts portion of this is a big component, really important component.
Yeah. Imagine if Terry Stotts would have been on the staff for the Celtics this year behind Joe Mazzulla,
Totally. Yeah. Bart, the Stotts component's really important to the Adrian Griffin hire.
I'm excited because he was a former coach and now he's back.
Yeah.
Even if he sucked or the Bucks sucked. And he's changed a lot in these 15 years too. Mm-hmm. But I really like what Grant said. Like, build around, give him good people to like lean on.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like with every great man, there's a great woman behind him. In 2023, of course, that sentence needs to go to the pasture because I said man and woman, assuming that. I said man and woman, which are not words anymore. Okay. So, but that's like with every great coach, he needs a good staff.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the Bucks bow out of the playoffs. Bobby Portis talking about Darvin Ham.
Totally. Yeah.
So
and we talked about it too, which was like Budenholzer not that long ago had two turned out to be very good head coaches, Taylor Jenkins and Darvin Ham on his staff, and maybe he had three. If Charles Lee becomes a coach somewhere, like what? Wait, what's
the Taylor? We love to see things the way we want to see it because now we don't like Bud, and it's like, well, we should have kept Taylor Jenkins. I don't know that everything in Memphis is squeaky.
Whoa. I think you're treading into very interesting territory.
You just did the SPO, by the way. You put your hand in your head. An untrained eye.
This is the untrained eye
ridiculous
that I just heard. I am not going to. Well, Bud. First off, Bud couldn't keep Taylor Jenkins. You know, he got a head coaching offer, so that part's irrelevant. But I think the point is, like, at one point, Budenholzer had an extremely good, as proven, bench of coaches. Like he did. I mean, Taylor Jenkins, regardless of what, you know, how you want to think of like the Ja Morant stuff or whatever, like the Grizzlies have been very good since he went there. Darvin Ham, you know, obviously had a crazy post-trade deadline turnaround of the Lakers. And Charles Lee is apparently, even though he hasn't gotten a job yet, is a head coaching candidate. So did the depletion of Bud's bench like really change that? So to your point, Bart and Grant, like you like the Bucks direction compared to the Suns direction. If you hire the inexperienced head coach, but very experienced assistant coach, and you can always maybe bring in a Stotts, and then the next time you bring in whoever it is. And by the way, at that point, let's say that's in 2 years that Stotts gets another head coaching job somewhere. Well, now Adrian Griffin is a 2 years experienced head coach, right? So like then you can take more chances with your
assistants maybe that were behind Stotts. They now move up. They're better assistant coaches. Like I just think when you do it the way the Suns are doing it, you are grooming somebody else's next head coach. The Bucks are grooming their own.
Oh, right, with Kevin Young. Yeah, I think that's
grooming.
I was going to say in 2023, I should be careful about my language. You were laying it on a little thick, so I was not going to feed more into that.
Yeah, I'm a wild card today.
You've been on the air too long. You did your
I did. Yeah, this is my second show. There's a YouTube only show for all you boys. We'll see how many of you want to be Bart Winkler completist or not. Two things I want to mention. One, I want to talk about Happy Place Hemp. Well, three things, because then I'll get to my point. One is Happy Place Hemp. One is for all the people of the world to have world peace. Steve Martin drank. One is for Happy Place Hemp. If you haven't taken their gummies by now, I just think you flat out don't like me. I mean, you flat out don't like me. That's what it is. It's a personal affront if you haven't tried one of their gummies. They help you sleep. They help, like, the best thing about these gummies is that they help a lot of different, and CBD, like the best thing about CBD is that it helps a lot of different things, but like, you know, legally you can't be like, but it works. Like, ow, my wrist hurts. Oh, it's better. Oh, fuck, I'm like anxiety. Oh, now it went away. Oh, I can't sleep. They just can't like say it, but it works. So I can say it based on my experience. And that is how a testimonial works. So now that I've just described how testimonials work, I'd implore you to go to happyplacehemp.com, promo code BART, 25% off. Second, with Tim Shea, I was looking when the next time him and I could go to a game together was during the day. And I'm going to try to do something August 23rd, a Bart Winkler day at the Brewers. It's a Wednesday. So
you're renting out 2 of the X Golf bays for all of us? Is that what
and I'm going to bring Spage there, and everybody gets to look at the person. Never mind.
What do you mean
I can't. I'm Paige Sporanic.
I didn't know that she went by that.
What's her name?
Soraya.
Oh, Paige.
That's a wrestling. That was a wrestling joke, Grant.
I was gonna say something sexist.
I saved you from it.
So August 23rd, my goal is to just buy like 100 shitty tickets for $6 or something.
Like, you're gonna buy them?
Huh?
Like, you're going to buy them? You're gonna buy $106?
I don't know if you guys heard. I made 77 cents on my YouTube stream on Sunday.
I did hear that. But wait, are you really gonna do that? You're gonna and then give the tickets out? Like, what's the full plan here?
I don't know. Maybe I won't buy them if it's that much money.
Well, I mean, 6 times 100 is more than 77 cents.
But I mean, like, we're gonna sit in fucking 4:30.
But yeah, that's not the point. Could you do a live while you're there? Is that allowed?
No, fuck no.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, you could, as long as there's not any express written, as long as there's, the thing. Retransmission or rebroadcast without express written consent of the Milwaukee Brewers Baseball Club is prohibited.
Do you think
we're actually gonna the way that people know January 6th, they're gonna know August 23rd, because I'm gonna fucking storm Rick's office and sit on the desk
with your shaman outfit on,
and I'm gonna take the Brewers media podium and walk out of Miller Park with it.
I mean, Craig Counsell got his locker raided one time. The guy was so hammered he fell asleep in the bushes. Just think what we could do sober.
Absolutely. 3, back to the show. I feel much more confident in the ability to be a successful head coach seeing Adrian Griffin up there than I did Matt LaFleur.
I have such a good transition here. So
Matt LaFleur looked like everybody snuck into their dad's office as the president of bank. Adrian Griffin is like, this guy's been waiting. He quit his playing career for this moment. I feel much more comfortable in that.
I just don't want to overreact to a press conference.
No. I'm not doing that either. But I just think, like, with the background, LaFleur from this job to this job, nobody's saying, oh, what, does anyone that Nick Nurse looks at get a job? Sure. When Matt LaFleur got hired, it was because he breathed the same breath as Sean McVeigh did one time.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he was an offensive coordinator of an NFL team that called plays, but I understand.
He didn't use Derrick Henry for a whole half a season.
Whatever.
And he wasn't allowed in McVeigh.
I don't want to argue about this. It's fine.
Okay.
So Paul, if you could, now that Grant's done grooming, if you could transition.
You used to have Ross Tucker on a lot, right? Are you still a Ross Tucker guy?
The thing about the Packers this season.
I think I know where Paul's going with this. I talked about this on my show on Monday.
Oh!
I'm excited. So I've honed my takes.
Okay.
I'm going to be a surgeon with this topic.
So I wanted to go directly from the Adrian Griffin news to the Matt LaFleur ranking, which is that Ross Tucker ranked all 32 NFL coaches, as heard on the Wisco Sports Show with Grant Bills. Matt LaFleur ranked, Bart, you've not seen the list, it sounds like. Where do you think Matt LaFleur ranked on Ross Tucker's ranking of NFL head coaches?
Top of my head, 19.
Shut up, you prick. Why can't we do anything fun on this podcast?
Why do you assume I didn't see the list? I'm on Twitter 8 hours a day. It's all anybody's tweeting about.
Well, first off, the answer is 17th. So you
I also did tweet about it, saying that Brandon Staley should be in the 40s.
Oh, yeah, I did see that. I remember that.
He was 17th, not 19th. Matt LaFleur, we've not seen, we've not yet seen, it's June of 2023. We've not yet seen the post-Aaron Rodgers version of Matt LaFleur, and I think we all agree that we're going to finally see what that would have looked like.
Matt LaFleur, to answer your question, has been an NPC these last few years.
No.
Yes.
No.
He's the non-playable character.
That's not fair.
So Matt
Can't
LaFleur,
do shit. It's all been Rodgers.
So Dan Campbell is 16th. Matt LaFleur is 17th, which is basically like, when you have an even number of coaches, that's the middle. Matt LaFleur is, at this point, should be viewed as nothing more than a league average head coach.
I don't even know if there's enough. I don't even know there's enough on the docket for that.
So he's lesser than.
He's done nothing to show me he's a good coach.
And Mike McDaniel has, Kevin O'Connell has, Dan Campbell has, Zach Taylor has.
Hey, there's a reason why I think I could legitimately coach a team to 9 fucking wins.
Sure.
Well, I mean, to be clear, like Mike McCarthy is 21st on this list.
Oh, McCarthy's better than LaFleur.
He's behind Arthur Smith and Ron Rivera, which is
how do you bring Gallagher in to crack watermelons and not make the top 20?
Your boy Robert Saleh is 25th.
Oh, wow. He took a beating then.
Yeah.
25th.
Well, he's never won jack shit. So there's that.
Josh McDaniels, 29th. Isn't it amazing there's 3 lesser rated coaches than Josh McDaniels?
Well, they're all new. He probably had to put it's Steichen, Ryans, and Gannon. He had to put those guys below.
Yeah, I suppose.
So can I go?
Matt LaFleur is a league average head coach, Grant Bills. Or mm-mm.
Obviously, there's things that we don't know because he's been coaching.
We don't know. We don't know.
But I will say, he's better than league average. And Bart, this is a point that I discussed with, who did I talk about this? One of my callers on Monday. For all that we've said about Aaron Rodgers and how he's difficult to work with and how he weighed the organization down with this, that, and the other thing, I don't need to lay out all the things that we've said about him the last couple of years. Does Matt LaFleur not get credit for navigating that at all? Is that not a skill as a head coach, managing an ego and keeping players happy and not overturning the apple cart with the guy who's been in the organization for almost 20 years? He doesn't get credit for that? I think that's a feather in his cap.
Matt LaFleur's been nothing but a glorified – you might as well name this guy Pip.
So he's
a yes man. He's a little yes man.
You who've wanted to move off of Rodgers for 3 or 4 years, you say, I want off this ride. I want this guy out of here. Matt LaFleur has been taking that guy to NFC Championship games.
Matt LaFleur kept putting quarters in the goddamn slot.
Sure. But I still think, and again, he was aided greatly by stepping into his first head coaching job and having Aaron Rodgers as his quarterback, 100%. I also think there were things that he had to deal with that a lot of rookie coaches have never had to deal with. And I think he did a pretty good job navigating them. And I think that's something that we need to recognize.
I think I don't disagree with you, Grant. I would just say, like, it's easy to just defer. LaFleur, maybe it was the smart thing to do. Just kind of always said, yes, sir, to Aaron Rodgers. Like, that's not like a skill to just be deferential and be like, I don't know, like, yeah.
I think it is. Like, Josh
whatever you say, Aaron.
Josh McDaniels comes in and he probably is a dick and he probably makes waves. I think. I don't. Why is that? I mean, I'm not trying to stick up for Josh McDaniels, but why is that idea bad? I think it takes a big man to realize what is best for the team. Brian Gutekunst's last couple of years as well. He has worn it publicly for the sake of keeping his quarterback happy and in the fold and on the team. And so I don't think that's a sign of a man being a baby. I think that's a sign of a man being mature and realizing that my job needs to be this, and it's going to reflect negative on me, but it's best for my team and best for my organization.
So let's see what the Venn diagram overlap is of listeners to this show and viewers of Succession. You've seen Succession, Grant?
Yes.
Bart, you have not?
I mean, because I know who fucking takes over.
Okay, so, but what you're saying, Grant, is that Matt LaFleur is Tom Wambsgans.
And I think Shiv is a dime.
So because like, why did Mattson hire Tom Wambsgans? The answer is because he said, like, what did Shiv say about Tom? He said, like, he'll suck the biggest dick in the room, right? Yeah. Like, whatever you want to do, like, Tom's like, I implement strategies and
First of all, Tom was a bumbling knob in the first season or two. He represented and carried himself very well in the final season.
He didn't actually ever do anything. He's a yes man, right? Look, he was hired to be a yes man. So the way you were describing LaFleur was like, it's good to be deaf. It's good to just say yes, sir. It takes a skill to just be walked all over. Yeah, I guess it's a skill, but like, I don't know if it's a skill.
I'm not saying he let himself get walked all over. And there's going to be there are people listening right now. Like, I'm thinking of Bodie and Cone and all those guys who hold us accountable with Aaron Rodgers. They're like, is Grant really saying that Matt LaFleur's job was harder because I had Aaron Rodgers? That's not what I'm saying. No. I'm simply saying, for everything negative that we've said about Aaron Rodgers the last couple of years, and Packers fans have said a lot, we also need to realize that LaFleur was dealing with that. So I think there were challenges in coaching Rodgers, They were probably massively outweighed by the benefits because he got an experienced quarterback. They won games, but he probably also had to deal with, like, Arthur Smith in Atlanta is not dealing with what Matt LaFleur dealt with at quarterback the last couple of years. Now, Arthur Smith also hasn't won, but it hasn't affected him in Ross Tucker's rankings, which it's so dumb that we're breaking down rankings, but I'm so fascinated by the list. I don't care that what this exercise is dumb, but I don't care because it's fun.
Well, yeah, and part of it too is like when, man, I don't know how to even say it. Like, if you're going to give LaFleur credit, this is kind of the Mike Budenholzer conversation. It's like, yeah, but look at all the things he did great in the regular season. Like, oh, Matt LaFleur had these 13-win seasons and then couldn't, whether it's him, whether it's Rodgers, whether it's a compilation of people, like Matt LaFleur has been a good
Matt LaFleur,
but he's been
all this. He acquiesces to Aaron Rodgers all the time. And then on fourth down, he kicks a fucking field goal.
Yeah, I'm just not like, I think right now it's fair to question the instincts, the gut of Matt LaFleur. Like, it seems like he makes, even like to the point that Aaron Rodgers brought up in the Matt Schneidman piece with The Athletic, was like Aaron's friends told Aaron, hey, you did see Matt was really excited about that Jordan Love pick, didn't you, Aaron? Right? So like that, you know, like keeping the peace, like Matt LaFleur could have been more stoic, you know, if he wanted to know that Aaron.
He did giggle pretty hard. Yeah, that was weird.
They were very excited. Now, granted, they were all in different rooms because it was April of 2020, but LaFleur at his house was giddy about the Jordan Love pick. So he kind of rocked the boat there, and maybe he had to work his way back from that. I don't know. We don't know, right, Grant?
Yeah, look, I'm not saying Matt LaFleur is even a top 10 coach in football. I'm saying Mike McDaniel, his coach for 1 year, he went, 9-8, 8-9. And the most important thing he did all year was, we took the ping pong tables out of the locker room because guys were having too much fun amidst this losing streak.
I'm not going to stand for any Mike McDaniel slander. So,
or Kevin O'Connell. And I said this on Monday on my show. There's so many guys in this league who come in, replace a defensive-minded head coach. Things were stale. They bring in the offensive system, immediate success, immediate results, right? Can Mike McDaniel do it for more than 1 year? Can Kevin O'Connell do it for more than 1 year? Because Matt LaFleur did. Albeit with Aaron Rodgers as his quarterback, he did. He won 13 games 3 years in a row.
I would say, I think when Ross Tucker redoes this list a year from now, Matt LaFleur will not be anywhere near 16th or 17th. He will either be much higher, or much lower.
Good,
right? Because we're gonna learn a lot.
Also, Pete Carroll or Brian Dable. As I get older, and I'm only 25, but as I get older, I've really started to respect the coaches who are not like gurus, because a lot of coaches now, it's like, well, we are going to hire this amazing offensive coordinator as our head coach. And he might not be great at all the coaching things, but the value he's going to bring and the efficacy he's going to bring to our offense is worth whatever bullshit we need to deal with timeouts and the other things. Tomlin and Pete Carroll and some of these other, they're coaches, right? They're not.
Yeah, you need a coach.
They coach. And when assistants leave, they replace them and they redesign their team. And I couldn't stand Pete Carroll a couple of years ago. And after seeing how he handled the departure of Russell Wilson,
he is way more likable post Russ.
Oh, yeah.
Hopefully the same happens to Matty.
And I respect him. He's a coach. He is a coach. And there's only a couple guys. Andy Reid is in that vein, but Andy Reid's also brilliant offensively. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I've really started to respect those guys because they're a dying breed in a league of specialists, really, if we're being honest.
I do think it's interesting if you look at this guy. I just say real quick, Sean Payton, who has not coached, is number 4, and McCarthy is 21. Are we sure that like the difference between Sean Payton and Mike McCarthy is 17 spots? Like that I'm not a McCarthy guy. I'm not. But that doesn't seem right. That seems like, hey, Sean, we've missed you. You did TV. You were a good TV analyst guy, and like, I don't know. That's Sean Payton is not 17 spots better than Mike McCarthy in any.
Well,
sense.
One had a movie about him, and one was on NFL Network crying.
Who would play McCarthy? Kevin, not Kevin Spacey.
Kevin James.
Kevin James played Sean Payton. Who would play Mike McCarthy? A fat Ed Harris?
Hey, watch your words.
I want your honest reaction to this, because I just got an email as we were talking. There is an urgent update to Omaha Steaks. Urgent. This is urgent. The guy emailed me and said, sorry to change things up, but this is urgent. And it's even in red. If you go to omahasteaks.com and type Bart in the search bar, you can get Dad's favorite grill pack today for just $99 plus $8 of free burgers with your order. For Father's Day, you get the 4 Butcher's Cut Top Sirloins, the 4 air-chilled boneless steaks, chicken breast, the 4 Omaha steaks, burgers, the Jumbo Franks, the scallop potatoes, and the tartlets for just $99. Save 58% off the cover price. Type in Bart. Don't wait till the checkout. Type it in the search bar. Type in Bart. Urgent. You didn't like that tweet, Paul? Hey, people, hey, from tragedy comes comedy, Paul. You should know that after your sad sack of a career.
Fair. I have one that I want to make sure we get to, but I'm just going to ask you one other Packers one. And then we're going to conclude with an absolute banger.
Okay.
Yeah, what do you do? I'm a sports journalist. Oh, what paper? Well, it's actually on Milwaukee.com. Sorry.
No worries.
I do a podcast for a living.
We're all very, very cool people. Almost too cool. So this is one that Andy Herman proposed. And we don't need to get into we can if you want, like the whole David Bakhtiari stuff. But we've talked about like DeAndre Hopkins and like, don't sign DeAndre Hopkins. Like, do not sign a veteran backup quarterback. Basically because let's be realistic about what the 2023 season is. And so the one that I saw here, I think there were a few trade options. But David Bakhtiari to the Chiefs for a second-round pick. The Packers should trade Baktiari for a second-round pick. I don't care if it's to the Chiefs or to who. But ultimately, it's this question of, like, how much do you tear down the current roster to rework your cap, to just let the young guys play, etc. So Packers get a call from Team X. It can be the Chiefs, as per Andy Herman's suggestion. But you would trade Baktiari for a second-round pick.
Well, in the matter of you asking that question, I went from absolutely to none. I want Jordan Love to get the chance to play quarterback.
Yeah.
And if Baktiari is fine with being in a rebuild, as he keeps calling it, and he can still play, and he doesn't need like a bubble pop from his knee every third fucking quarter, then I'd rather have someone protect, like, don't put fucking idiot out there just so now Jordan Love's got to worry about that shit. Let the guy play. A second round pick, though, is pretty juicy.
And because it's post June 1, the cap guys talk about how it's it clears, it keeps all the money on 2023, so it opens up a lot of money for next offseason. So it's not just the second round pick, but you're creating a lot of financial benefits for the 2024 offseason.
How much of a difference do you think Baktiari, like, what's his wins above?
Well, I think
because this is your blind side, Love's a righty, so this is your blind side.
Actually, and I don't know the answer to this. What is let's say Bakhtiari's there. What is the Packers starting offensive line? Who's the right tackle, and who would be the left tackle, presumably, if Baktiari was traded? Because I think like the wins above replacement part
Zach
of it is
Tom or some shit.
It would be Zach Tom, right? Because is Nijman the starting right tackle as of June?
I got to be honest. Just like I can never figure out, like, I just can never remember the starting fucking offensive line.
Not in June. I mean, I'll know it in August.
As much as I do think the game is won in the trenches, I believe it with my heart.
Well, it is. Yeah.
Grant, sorry to put you on the spot. Do you know the answer to that question?
No, I've had about 30 seconds here. I suppose I could have looked it up.
Spriggs and Tauscher and
Stepaniak,
Adrian Clem, and
they're trying. As of last week, they were trying Sean Ryan a little bit at center. I could tell you if the Chiefs called the Packers to talk about an offensive line trade, it would go something like, "Hey Brian, I'm doing the Nagler, friend of podcast. Hey Brian, yeah, it's Brett Veach in Kansas City. Yeah, your offensive line. How's Josh Myers going? Yeah. Well, we love Creed Humphrey. Thanks again for that. Good fucking pick. What about your left tackle? Would you mind second round pick maybe? I would, by the way, say I think the value of having Baktiari here, even if it's just for 1 year, even if you're not trying to win, the value of having an experienced left tackle with some of the young linemen, with Jordan Love, I just think that's really valuable. Even if it doesn't lead to any extra wins, I think that experience is valuable moving forward. And I think it's more valuable than a second-round pick in 2024.
So I will answer the question, but the cop-out response would just be, we don't know Bakhtiari's medicals. If he's not going to require like sitting out every third quarter, which by the way, like happened, he would play half of games. Like this is not some wild concept. This is a Matt LaFleur thing that he had to implement with Baktiari. If Bakhtiari is like pending an additional injury, like if he's recovered, then I think I'm going to say to the trade. Do not trade him. But if it's still kind of iffy, and if you're like, yeah, like even if he does not have any setbacks, he's still only going to play 70% of the snaps. If that's the case, if it's unlikely based on just his previous injury history that he cannot play a full season, like if you know that, which is very possible, by the way. Again, like we have very, very recent history to suggest that that's possible. Then if you're the Chiefs, you would take that, right? You'd be more than happy with 70% of Bakhtiari snaps because of the position that the Chiefs are in. But for the Packers, I think you have to at least expect that pending a new injury, he has to play close to 100% of the snaps. Or if he can't, he just physically cannot, then second round pick. So I know it's kind of a wishy-washy answer, but I do think that's a really important component of the trade discussion.
I'll tie in some Craig Counsell thinking into the situation. I think that Craig Counsell would rather throw a C+ reliever that's rested and healthy than an A reliever that's exhausted and that's been overworked. Like I think for Counsell, the way he sees his bullpen, rest and health and time off is more. It's almost as important as talent. Like I think that's how he sees. I was
going to ask you about that, Grant. Do you think that should be applied to the radio profession?
So we should get more days off.
Should you have your A+ talent working Friday, or should that be a chance for the C guys to be ready? They've been gearing up all week.
It's an interesting. I need to stew on that. I think I don't know if it applies to radio. It applies to the left tackle position. Like I would rather have a B- C+ left tackle that plays every snap of every game than have a turnstile, but I sometimes get my A tackle in David Bakhtiari. I just think the stability is almost more valuable than the actual upside. If that's going to be the situation with Bakhtiari, and I'm sure that's something the Packers have considered.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Last question. And I know then we got to depart and say goodbyes. And I'm really excited for this one, but let's see where it goes. I really want to talk about the Milwaukee Pro Soccer Club team name. How do you feel about that? I'm going to read you some of the round one winners and then some of the upcoming matchups. Because team name, like naming a team, like this is great. Like this is for me. This is like, yeah, let's go.
I experienced it in my formative years in middle school. My town's mascot went through a change, and I feel like this is part of me. So I'm down for this, naming a team.
What did it go from? Indians to what?
Mustangs.
But it was Indians?
It was Indians, yeah. It's badass too. Offensive, but it's badass logo. All right, Paul. Some
of the round one winners. Milwaukee Tall Boys, Milwaukee Barons, Lake Effect, Milwaukee Masons, Milwaukee Brigade, Milwaukee Ride, Milwaukee Choppers, Goodland United, Cream City, Milwaukee Sturgeon, Old Milwaukee, and Fresh Coast. I know it's kind of fast, but we got time crunch and there's 12 names there. There's also some ones that are currently in the making. So here's some other ones. Wisconsin, just Wisconsin. Milwaukee Makers, Milwaukee Industrial, Cream City Strikers, Milwaukee Machine, Milwaukee Fusion, Milwaukee United, Milwaukee Robins, Milwaukee Forge, Westtown MKE, Milwaukee Northman, Dairyland. All right, I won't name them all. The best team name of the ones I named, I know there's a lot to digest. The one you'd like it to be called is Lake Effect.
Okay, I did bring this up.
Or I know you did a little bit, but I hadn't seen all the names, so I love
I like Lake Effect too, but I think that should be like the name of the drum line.
Oh, interesting.
I don't think you name a team Lake Effect. That is a very something they have to do. Something has to be done with Lake Effect. Something has to be done. It's too good.
The Tundra line accompanies the Packers.
Yes,
the situation. And
they so Forward Madison FC.
Yeah.
is the name. The Flamingos are the unofficial mascot.
Oh wow, okay.
So they're not professionally the Forward Madison Flamingos. That's not like Liverpool, I think, is the Reds, but they're not the Reds. It's just West Ham. People call them the Hammers because ham, but they're not the Hammers. They're West Ham. Okay. So a lot of teams take on that sort of thing. So the Flamingos aren't official, but then they call their fans the Flock.
Ooh, cool.
Okay. And I think Lake Effect can be like a group of supporters or something.
It's not the WWE universe, it's the Lake Effect.
Just to reiterate where I was the other day, I like Goodland is what I want. I want Goodland, Milwaukee.
Wait, but hold on though. And I'm not trying to be all me about it, but if they're the Goodland, are they the Goodland or the Goodland?
You would say Goodland, Milwaukee.
I would never say it that way.
Goodland, Milwaukee, then. Goodland. I'll just pronounce it Goodland.
Okay. I know it's like for a name is important, so we have to always be able to
Goodland,
agree.
Milwaukee.
Okay.
SC, because it's
SC.
fucking soccer here.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. I am that guy. You would probably think if anyone was the guy to call it football, it would be me. You'd probably think that I would say 0-0 and pitch, and I would be that kits. And no, I am soccer guy. I don't want Cream City.
No, I don't either. I agree. Brad, do you have a favorite?
Is that the end of your?
I guess.
Okay, so Bart doesn't want Cream City. You will not find someone that loves Great Lake lingo. I love the Great Lakes. I love commerce on the Great Lakes. I love a good port city, an ore dock, a lift bridge. Sean O'Connell and I love barges. Sean O'Connell and I were bench cut starting port cities around Lake Superior based on their maritime features. We bench cut start Sault Ste. Marie, Duluth, and Marquette. I am down for this. I just don't think it's a very good.
Is Edmund Fitzgerald FC out of the equation?
Holy shit. Now, come on now.
You know, there's a boat that sank like right by my house.
Oh, you would not believe how many shipwrecks there are in the Great Lakes.
Yeah.
Bart, I know you don't like Cream City, and neither do I, but I do like Cream City Strikers.
Strikers is that was the mascot in the 1994 World Cup. That Strikers, for a while, people didn't know what to call forwards in soccer, so they started calling them strikers.
Oh, yeah, sure. Yeah.
The Appomattox crashed in 1896, right on Atwater Beach.
I experienced some of the lakefront in Milwaukee, really other than downtown, kind of by like off Juneau and like over by the Fest grounds. Like I was in Whitefish Bay. Was it like Lions Den Park? Something it was up there. It was beautiful. I would love incorporating the Great Lakes into more things. I just don't know that it's a great team name.
I'm not a motorcycle guy, but I do like Milwaukee Choppers, because you could say it's a choppy lake, but it's also
you don't know shit about Chop, which is like the best line from The Wolf of Wall Street. God, I love that line. That's so funny. You don't know shit about Chop. I didn't need to interrupt you for that. I'm sorry.
No, I'm just kind of looking through them. I mean, Grant, do you have a favorite then?
Here's another thing. I think we're really going to struggle naming teams as these leagues expand. Like, I don't think Seattle crack it. That doesn't sound real to me. I can't buy into that. So either we've exhausted every good team name that we have, or a team needs to be named, and then it needs like a period of time for it to solidify and be legit.
Like, what about if there was a baseball team called the Omaha Steaks? Wow. MLS has the New York Red Bulls.
Yeah. I remember when they became the New Orleans Pelicans. I was like, what? The Pelicans?
Yeah.
I still don't think it's great. But I remember at first I was like,
well,
you can't.
We have the dumbest fucking name. The Packers.
I suppose.
No one would ever name the Packers.
Yeah.
Ever. Although there was and then Grant, you can leave anytime.
No. Well, did Upton Sinclair, like if the Packers were named post Upton Sinclair's review? Wait, when did that come out though? Is that late 1800s? Oh shit! And they were still named the Packers anyways. Interesting.
There was a team in 1961 in the NBA called the Chicago Packers.
Mm-hmm.
They went 18-62.
Wow. 1 year only?
Oh, I think they sort of became the Wizards.
Oh.
That coach would probably be pretty high on Ross Tucker's coaching rankings through the
How do we
33rd team.
How do we feel about Milwaukee Ride?
Bad.
Right.
Yeah, okay. I kind of okay. Bart, do you know who runs? You don't have to answer if you don't want. Do you know who runs the social media for the soccer team?
Yeah, my boss for them.
It's there. I was gonna. It's really they do a really good job.
I'll let him or her know.
Yeah, they really do. That's all I have. Well, I have more, but I tried to condense this for purposes of our time constraints.
I guess we'll have to do it again next week.
I got a loose and easy 10 minutes here. We can wrap.
Oh, a
things up.
loose and easy 10?
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay, do one more.
Well, no, I've kind of gone out of order in the.
You know what, Paul?
Do you want to?
No one gives a shit.
Well, okay, but I understand that. But I would have done this Jaylen Brown to the Bucks topic earlier, but we went from Terry.
I don't want to talk about it. Let's skip.
Skip? No Jaylen Brown?
Nah.
Okay, how about this one? Because this is the other thing I'm curious about. John Horst today in the press conference, from what I read, have not heard yet.
It's right there.
I know your background because that is your real background. I am definitely unable to differentiate between. So John Horst said, I'm not shaking up the whole thing. First off, Myers Leonard is there, free agent. Javon Carter is there, player option.
Oh, those guys are all there to try. They're trying to
They're trying to get a job.
They're trying to stay on the team.
No, I know that, but it is interesting that they're all in the picture, the actual photograph, and they're not.
Well, they took
there.
a picture with the players.
Well, are they his players though? They're not. They're no more I suppose they have cap holds, right? So I guess I was going to say they're no more Bucks players than they are.
Why
players.
are they all? Why is Myers Leonard in Milwaukee on June 6th?
Because that was his most recent team, and he has a key to
come
the
back.
gym.
Is he? Could I go see him at fucking Cobb's tomorrow, or is he did he fly back for this?
No, I'm guessing these guys were just practicing. So anyway, John Horst said that something to the effect of, and I'm paraphrasing, that he didn't want to shake up the whole thing, and it was it might have been part of what Adrian Griffin was saying. But all of this, you're expecting, given the Adrian Griffin news, the Terry Stotts news, we should start to set our expectations as forget Blazers trades, forget Jaylen Brown trades. Maybe there'll be some tinkering around the edges, but the core of this team is coming back. That's your expectation. Mm-hmm or mm-mm.
The only reason that any of that stuff is expected is because this fan base is 19 years old and solely exists on Twitter.
Every fan base is doing mock trades, though.
Sure, yeah.
Kyrie Irving is doing mock trades.
He's not even on a team. He's doing
not.
mock trades.
Right.
Yes. Mm-hmm. To your question. I don't know. I'm just glad that and I don't always mean to make it about Twitter, but I'm just glad that the masses are placated. You got your official press conference. You got someone over the age of 50 as an assistant coach. This could have been Terry Stotts. It could have been fill in the blank. Any guy that we've known to be a subpar aging head coach over the last 10 years. Nobody's excited about Terry Stotts. Everyone's excited that, this guy was once a head coach. He's experienced and now we have him. It could have been any name. I don't know.
Would you like to know how Adrian Griffin responded to the question about the lawsuit?
Oh, so he was asked
in the sidebar.
Oh, okay.
Steve McGargy said, one thing appreciate Steve always goes, thanks for doing this.
God damn it.
Do you know that?
No.
Yeah. He always goes, Hey, Craig, thanks for doing that. He always says, thanks for doing this.
He's appreciative.
One thing that didn't come up was the Facebook post from your ex-wife. I appreciate you asking that. I denied the allegations. They were unfounded. Unfortunately, because of this, I had to file a defamation case. I can't get into the facts, but it's been resolved. I am the one who filed the defamation case. I don't know if it stopped me from getting other jobs. It's something you'd have to ask them. But for me, I'm excited. This is the dream come true. Blah, blah, blah. I believe John did his due diligence. Of course, anyone would, but I feel comfortable.
Whose quote is that?
Griffin. Basically, this one guy on Twitter pressured the Bucks beat into asking them because he's sad that he didn't get Nick Nurse.
By the time people listen to this, Game 3 of the NBA Finals would be played. The Heat.
Paul, that's tomorrow. Frank.
It is. Sorry, so it actually is quote unquote tonight, Wednesday night, right?
Mm-hmm.
The Miami Heat have a legitimate, actual chance to be the NBA champions, for real.
Well, then that's how I started yesterday's pod. Was that Bucks fans have known forever that teams can get bullshit hot from 3 with no rhyme or reason, and you're like, this fucking sucks.
Yeah.
But I guess that's what happens. And now it happened in Game 2. Not even to that crazy of an idea, but the fact that the Heat won one game, everyone's like, oh my God, they might actually win because they're making shots. Well, no fucking shit. It's basketball.
Yeah. But but the Heat were obviously, on paper, the Heat were a lesser roster than the Bucks. The Heat on paper were a lesser roster than the Celtics.
Oh, they're terrible.
Are a lesser roster than the Nuggets, substantially so. But as it stands today, you believe, for real, hot streaks or whatever else, where are you at? Basically, is what I want to ask. How much?
I think Ram was right all along because they might be bad players or bad team, but they can hoop.
Grant, where are you at? How real of a chance?
They had a legit chance the second that they beat the Bucks in 5 because the Bucks were the title favorites. They were everyone's safe pick, best player in the world. That was the case as soon as they beat the Bucks handedly in 5 games and eliminated them on their home floor. And that was all I needed to see. Yeah.
Have you found yourself rooting more strongly for one or the other, Denver or Miami?
Oh, I'm absolutely rooting for the Heat.
How weird is this for you?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I almost like Duncan Robinson now.
I was cheering very strongly against the Celtics. So for the Heat, I guess. Now I want the Nuggets to win because Heat fans can get high on their horse and say, well, we've knocked the Bucks out twice and we've made 2 finals, so the Bucks won. And I would say, but it don't mean a thing without the ring.
That's why I want the Heat to win because I want Giannis to keep one over Jokic.
But we're losing ground either way, 100%. But I have no problem with Jokic being on Giannis's level. He's unbelievable.
Yeah,
he's great. I recognize that.
I just want them to lose because of Matt Moore. It's Twitter.
I think
how pissed, by the way, is Michael Malone today about this golf news the day before Game 3 of his Nuggets in the NBA Finals, and golf.
I know, taking the Nuggets right off the front page,
and Kyrie's trade request. It's been a rough week.
Are the finals even happening?
Yeah,
and
then you've got all this news about who's going to be the next co-host for Skip. This is all taking up Nuggets coverage.
And the weather's nice, so people are not even looking at coverage.
Talking about the way, right? So how do you talk about the Nuggets if you're outside? You can't. You're either outside or you're
Nuggets.
Yeah.
Guys, appreciate you.
Appreciate you guys. It's fun as always.
Promo code, type Bart in the search bar and get some steaks for your dad. That's what Cats in the Cradle was initially about. Cat Stevens' dad never got steak.
It's not Cat Stevens.
Jim Croce's dad never got steak.
Try again. Come on.
Cat Stevens.
Harry Nilsson.
Harry Nilsson never put the lime in the coconut.
There you go.
Did you do it because it's Cat in the Cradle, so it's Cat Stevens? You just thought that was a play on his own name?
Yeah, just like Snoop Dogg did Who Let the Dogs Out.
Bye, guys.
Bye, Bart.